It's Jazz at the West Ham Irons channel. Early start for me. It's a transfer talk show. As everyone knows, we made our first signing of the window yesterday. Aga joined for around 30 million, which I think includes add-ons. A great signing. What remains to be sort of seen is that going to be our flagship signing of the window, a bit like Zuma? Or is there more equal signings to happen around the same value? Are we going to go slightly cheaper now? But for me, what will be interesting this summer, I think it's going to be who we're going to sell. Because I think it's going to be a mixture of selling a few players to kind of improve the transfer pot, shall we say. So I think, obviously, Dupe, Benrahma, Vlasic are the ones that are going to be interesting. Benrahma will depend on the Lingard saga and also if there's any truth in Ericsson. This morning, I think we're one of 9 clubs that are interested in Ericsson. The thing with Ericsson, and even sort of Ward-Prowse to lesser extent, and kind of Lingard, is those players, there's not many of them around, players who are traditionally number 10 players. It's a dying breed. They're hard to fit in, like the Joe Cole types. They don't fit into many of the modern sort of formation, shall I say. But when they play, we knew last season they can unlock defences and they're worth their kind of weight in gold, really. So Lingard's gone all quiet. What I'm hearing on Lingard is that there's not many clubs interested, which could be good news for us if we could get a deal done. He's asking for a lot of money at the beginning of the window. Whether he does sort of lower his expectations at the end of the window is to be seen. But like I said before, what's important is that you leave a little bit of money in the pot for the last few days and hopefully a player spot, and then you can grab that bargain. You don't want to. It's good that we bought major signing in day 10, day 11 of the window, but then on the other side of it, just leave a little bit at the end. And also, 2 ways to look at it is hopefully when you go into the last week of the window closing, you've bought the majority of your players. They're on board. They joined pre-season. They settled in. And then you can go and risk it and see if you can maybe surprise the fans a little bit of buying someone who perhaps wasn't on anyone's radar and suddenly he wants to leave and you can do a deal, even on loan. So that remains to be seen, really. So Ericsson, for me, I don't think it's that likely because I think there's many clubs, especially Spurs, in the Champions League now, But I do feel sorry for Brentford. I think that they stuck their head out. They gave him a good contract. A lot of complicated insurance paperwork was done. And if he just decides that he'll go somewhere else, I'm not sure, But I think in the modern world, it's a London club. It's a lovely location for him. And just give him a bit of loyalty back for backing him, really. When now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, Newcastle, Everton, we're interested in Ericsson, but I don't think that can happen. I think he's 30 years old. That age bracket doesn't fit the future of West Ham, especially with David Moyes. And remember when I was mentioning that we do have the second oldest squad as at last year after Burnley, so we need to improve on that. And we do need a lot of pace in that team, although in that Ericsson position, pace isn't important. But what I'm saying, Ward-Prowse is the one I want. That's my number one target. If we can make it happen by offloading 1 or 2 other players, then make it happen. If it's going to be Souček, I don't know. For me, he's been very up and down. He's limited what he brings to the team. I think Ward-Prowse would be the one for me, I think. Ericsson's got very similar attributes, especially from set pieces, but Ward-Prowse is 26. He's British. He's on the fringes of the England squad. Has got a few caps, and he knows, the league very well. That would be a major signing for us, really. The first player I wanted to talk about is, if I just share my screen, is the big news down there, which is that a Broja bid is imminent, really. Broja is obviously registered with Chelsea. He's 20 years old. He's going to be 21 in September. Again, he's from an area around Slough where I used to live, and he was actually used to be in a class, same primary school as my daughter. So from a lovely Albanian family and down to earth, hard-working. And again, good height, good strength. I saw him in London Stadium in December, January, when he won a penalty for us, if you remember. The only thing with him is he hasn't scored hardly any goals since December, I think. So if we have a look at his kind of stats, really, at the club level, yeah, he doesn't score a lot. So 9 in 38. Most of those 9 were scored before Christmas, but I know Southampton struggled a lot. That's why when I look at players like Dennis, Broja, I'm not too concerned about one or two stats because they were in a very struggling teams, but they still stood out as their main players. And touchwood, he doesn't get injured too much. I think I don't know if you can see injury on this one. Injury career. No, you can't. You can on some of them, but I'm not sure if you can on this one. Yeah, there we go. Injury history. So let's have a look because that's important. Because Arga yesterday's signing's hardly been injured. It's really good for us. Okay, had the virus for 10 days. Actually, very recently until the 9th of June. Wow. A week off in November. So not too bad, actually. Not too bad when you consider all that, really. So Broja's 20, good height, good strength. He's a bit like the Arnie mould, isn't he? But obviously, he's only 20, by nowhere imagination anywhere near the finished product. Chelsea, the problem is the owners. I think the deal's been rubber stamped and all that's gone through. It's up to them what they want to do. If they want to keep him or not. Obviously, they've struggled in that department, strikers up front. Lukaku's on the way out, so maybe they want to check him out until Christmas, really. But Chelsea normally don't give that many chances, really. So we'll see what happens. But certainly, we've thrown that hat in there, and I think he'll be good. He's not going to bring that many goals, I think, at the beginning, but I think with David Moyes, the way he coaches players, I think that'll be really important for me. I'm sure you can guide him in the right direction, give him good tips, and that kind of thing. So for me, I think he's worth a shout. He's worth buying, and hopefully, if he can improve slightly on the goals, because he certainly is a team player, he can hold it up. He's strong. He's not scared of anything, and I think he'll be a good signing. But again, with Premiership experience, he'll be at a premium. But for me, I think that one is probably stronger to happening rather than Ericsson for me, really. So for me, I think he's worth a shout. The other guys, obviously, El Nezri, very interesting name that's been linked with us for many, many good few years, I think. So let's get that one right. Nezri. He obviously played for Sevilla last season, if you remember. And he's Moroccan, so he's Moroccan by got a nationality again, yeah, French speaking. So we've got one or two of them in our squad. Age wise, he's 25. I know he's been around, spoken about for a good few years, but the age is good. 14 goals, 48 caps at international level. Let's have a look at his stats on the club level front. So 35 goals in 107 for Sevilla. The problem there, I think, is that his form has dwindled, I think. So if we have a look at season by season, 5 goals in 23, 18 in 38. See, that's the concern. 18 goals, 2021, and then last season only 5. And they've actually, what I've been told is they've actually approached West Ham and said you can have him for around 22 million. So I'll have to do a bit more diligence on it, I think, at the moment. I prefer Broja, I think, because it's less of a risk. Great age, very strong physical, and I think risk is not that much. The only thing is improve him on the goal tally, and I think Broja will be a good player for me. The other thing recently has happened that like I was saying earlier, the Lingard thing is still there, so let's see what happens with that. For me, again, keep mentioning Ward-Prowse is the number one target for me. It's got to be, Ericsson, Lingard, Broja types. Benrahma for me. I'm not sure now if David Moyes trusts him and will give him a chance or not. And talking about trust for Vlasic, he's definitely on the way out. I mean, we never quite knew. I thought it was about 25 million deal, but now they're saying the whole package of what we spent on him and what it could have become at the end was 33 million. And the thing with Torino, who he's been linked with, I think they just want him on loan. They're not going to give him much cash. It's funny, isn't it? When we try to sell players to the French league, Italian league, you don't get anything in return. And when you want to buy their players, they take us to the cleaners. So Vlasic, West Ham are fairly strong that they do want a cash deal or a certain requirement or a promise at the end that you're going to take him off our hands, because otherwise it'd be like one or two other players we had that just go around loans for a few seasons and end up giving them away. So, come on, he's worth a few bucks. Let's get something back, fill up the coffers again, really. So that's kind of a video for me this morning. I hope you're going to have a great, great morning, a great, great day. I'm going into sort of a bank conference later on. Oh, we got someone in the chat this morning early. Let's have a look. Who we got, sir? Hello, mate. I hope everything's well, and thank you very much for joining in. Please subscribe as well. I think it's there. Is it there? Yeah, subscribe to the West Ham Irons channel. We've only recently started in January. It's a very young channel, but I'm going to be sort of gearing up to do more shows every other day, perhaps more than one show a day. I really want to get in there this summer, use that time to get the loyalty of sort of followers like yourselves, and I'll bring you great shows going forward, really. Do you think Broja will sign? The only problem for me, again, will be if a Champions League club comes in for him, and even the Europa. I don't know, like Man United, whether they'll have him on their radar. I don't think so. That's the only thing, and that's why I kept saying that last season when we were in Europa and Arsenal, Tottenham were nowhere near to be seen in Europe. We didn't buy anyone. Shocking, you know. But this season, we're going to be competing with Champions League, you know, and Newcastle's money. Even though, interesting point is that Agard supposedly declined Newcastle upon advice from one or two of his friends. A guy at Wolves said London's good to live in, bring a family there, and West Ham are, you know, good bunch, good manager, fairly stable. So you never know which way it works. Otherwise, sometimes you would have gone to Newcastle for the money, really. But Newcastle people are waiting to see how they're going to do. Their form since Christmas has been brilliant. Great manager, good tactics, clever guy. Next season will be the one where they're really going to be cherry picking some of the players with their money clout, I think. But for me, Broja, it's a lot of things, isn't it? It's the bid, acceptability, which other teams are going in for you. I think there's a good chance it could happen. You know, he's a Slough boy. He's kind of West London. Chelsea obviously knows London, so it won't be too much of an upheaval for him. It could happen, and I'm happy for it to happen. I think players like the Andy Carroll type, not many around. He can give us that extra strength up there, physical presence. And I know David loves height. He'll give us that extra height again. So if you look at Agard, 6'3", Broja, well over 6 foot, Zuma, Souček, if he sticks around still, we're going to be back to hopefully improving us. So we've really got to improve our set pieces next season. Corners, set pieces, penalties, and do a bit more of that, really. So, yeah, so that's it from me, really. Spoke about Eriksen, Ward-Prowse, my hope for him, Vlasic, Benrahma, I'm not sure if he's going to stay. Dupe could be gone. You know, spent 30 million on Agard, so hopefully maybe get some of that back from Dupe. Lingard, it's always going to be there till the end of the window. Broja, it could happen, and I wouldn't mind that. El Nesri, not too sure about that one, as I said, really. So hopefully I'll catch up with you definitely by hopefully tomorrow morning, or I might even do another show later on. Do worry I have. What worry you? What before I go? What are you worried about, mate? Type your message in. Okay, mate. You take care and follow and subscribe. And there's going to be some great programs. I know I've not done many recently, been busy with a new role, but I will be back with a bang. I think from this morning, I'll definitely try to do at least one show a day, if not more. So thank you for watching. Hopefully we got that great first signing on board, really, and hopefully the rest will follow. The pressure's a little bit. Hopefully we're all feeling a little bit better this morning. You know, we've got hopefully a good player on board, and let's see some ins and outs. I don't mind a few players going out where it's not quite happening for. You know, it's Souček up and down. I don't think we can afford to have a player like Souček on the bench in terms of value. It's going to be, especially if we go for Ward-Prowse, we're going to have to get people like Benrahma, Dupe, Vlasic, Souček may be out the door. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I love to keep Souček and Benrahma on the bench, but not too sure. Usual suspect, good morning. You're definitely right, mate. I think we need many more than that, mate. You know, we need many more than that, because still people are being lined up to go out the door like Vlasic and other people. So you don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a very interesting window, mate. Really. I think things are going to happen. People are going to move that you didn't think they would, and people are going to come in perhaps hopefully you didn't think either. It's going to be crazy window now as well. I don't think he would stay, no. I think we're a half-decent team. We finished 7th, we finished 6th. We got Declan Rice as our captain, David Moyes. Whether you love him or you not, he's got a great reputation in the game now, very experienced. Players like playing for him, and anyone externally will say it's a good dressing room. It's a good, stable club to kind of show what you can do, really. We'll see, mate. You know, I think we need a bit of that physical, bit more in our team. I think, you know, I want a bit of that old school hardness back in the team, and Broja will hopefully bring that. And I want one of more players who can show that side of it, really. But anyway, I'm going to go now. So thanks again for watching. Everyone have a great morning, great day. Come on, you Irons, and hopefully we'll sign some more players. So take care and subscribe. Is it this way? I always get it wrong. That's it. Got it now. getting used to all this now. So subscribe to the West Ham channel, follow me. I'm going to make you happy this summer with great shows on transfer shows, Hammer history shows, and we were there. We're going to be having a show soon coming. I can't tell you too much about it. I did one already on the 1976 European Cup Winners' Cup semi-final, but we will be speaking to fans who attended the 1980 FA Cup final. That's going to be coming up hopefully in the coming weeks, or hopefully even days if I can organise everything. So keep watching me, give me ideas in the comments, and let me know if you're enjoying everything. But take care of yourself and have a great day.